Hello everyone, my name is Jones, I'm a German YouTuber, and the last 2 weeks I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how the new heat map mechanic in 7 Days to Die 1.0 works. I'm sorry for my English mistakes. As already mentioned, I'm a YouTuber from located in Germany, so I normally do German content and I never do English tutorials, but I'm pretty sure at the end of the video you will understand exactly how the new heat map is working in 7 Days to Die. And it's way more difficult than in earlier versions. So first of all, we all know the heat map is basically some kind of an action mapping system. Everything we do, like shooting, or if we are running a campfire or chemical station, something like that, produces an amount of heat which gets summed up in a percentage. And if we come to a dedicated point of this value, yeah, let me call it the boiling point, yeah, then screamer zombies are spawned, coming to your base, screaming at you and spawning a horde or maybe two. So that behavior changed a lot in version 1.0, and it's heavily discussed in my Discord and also everywhere else. And no one can exactly figure out how the new mechanic works. And yeah, as I said, I spent 2 weeks trying to get behind the technique, and here is what I have prepared for you and what I have found out in the past 2 weeks. So first of all, we can secure ourselves not by half blocks. If we use half blocks and we create a wall with them, and if we then spawn a screamer behind the wall, and we cannot take cover behind a half block, because the screamer zombie will see us instantly through the block. So let me just turn off the AI, and we take a screamer zombie. Please look at me. So, and we shoot that one. So now I go out of God mode, and if I now turn on the AI again, it will instantly scream at me because it can see me through the half block. So that's the first thing. It can see me through a half block. If we now take a full block, and it doesn't matter if it's a wood or if it's a steel block. For this example, I will choose again a wooden block, but in that case, I would choose a full block. It will not see me through this block. And don't worry, we will get exactly into the heat map in a few minutes. So now we test again. We turn off AI and spawn a screamer. Go out of God mode. We turn on AI again. And it does not scream. It cannot see me through the block because it's a full block. So if you want to secure your base, if you take over an existing POI, you should take care of that the first level or the floor level where the zombies are walking to you, yeah, is made out of full blocks without any window. Because if there is a window inside, even if there is a real window inside this block, it will the screamer will see you through the window. Yeah? So it must be a full block, no windows at all, nothing. Yeah? And then you are at least safe, so the screamer will not scream and spawn the horde. So that's the first thing. So what we see here, I have already turned on the heat map. And as we all know, in earlier versions of 7 Days to Die, the heat map was attached to the chunk. And I thought in 1.0 the heat map is also attached to the chunk itself, but I was wrong. So during testing in my other German tutorials, I also turned on the heat map and tried a little bit And now look closely what's written inside this little text box. So it says heat action 6. We are currently in chunk minus 1123. We got a heat level of 3.26%, and we got 4 events, which are all sound events. So if I now turn shoot with the MG42, we get a 5th event, which is also a sound event. And if I take, let's take a pipe bomb. Now we got another event, which is a sound event. And we have another event, which is also a sound event. And if I take a campfire and place that here, we will get again another event, which is a campfire event. And we currently have 13% of heat here in this chunk. So that's what I thought. But then I started moving around during my other tutorials, and then I saw that the chunks of the heat map, you see, we are at minus 11 and 23. If I now walk again that direction, we are in 12, 23, minus 12, 23, and we still got heat. So the first thing I thought is maybe they changed the heat map and it's not longer attached to the chunk. Instead, it could be attached to the player model. So it doesn't matter where I go, the heat always follows me. Because you see here we are already in chunk minus 13 and 23 and we still got heat. So that's already 3 chunks of heat. So as I said, I thought maybe it's attached to the player model. And then during testing, suddenly this happened. And I thought, well, what's that? What's that? You see, we now have here, I just shooted that zombie, we now have heat which is 0.39%. And if I go back, we got the 9% of heat. So then I thought, okay, the heat map is not attached to the player. Instead, the heat map is just bigger. So maybe an area of, let's say, 4x4 chunks. That's what I thought. And then I said, okay, let's create a new map. And I teleported myself to the 0 coordinate, so exactly the center of the map. And this is what I've done here. You see, there is the 0 position. Maybe here, I'm not sure. Wait a second, give me a second. So this is 16, so maybe this one? No. So then this one? No, okay. So then it's here. It should be here. This should be the center of the map. Yes. Okay, let me remove that block. Okay, so now we know where it is. So this is exactly the center of the map. We are at 0 east and 0 south. And then I started, okay, and I thought, okay, let's produce some heat. And as you can see, we are still, there is nothing is happening here currently. This is because the event, the spawn event, already happened. And so I shooted a little bit with the MG42 and I produced a little bit of heat, and then I just counted chunks where this heat is still present. And believe it or not, the heat map in 7 Days to Die 1.0 has 3 different sizes. I know, that sounds really crazy, and it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, what you see here is the center heat map of every map, which is a 9x9 chunk area. And this is the only heat map of this size. So every map has a 9x9 chunk area at the center of the map, which is one heat map. It doesn't matter where I move here, you always see we are in, we have no heat, we have no events, so 0%, 0 EVS, And we have a cooldown of 275, which is ticking down in 5-second steps. So now it's 270, now it's 265. Now, yes. So this is all the same heat map. So then I thought, okay, so the heat map is 9 by 9 chunks, no problem, yeah? So I tried counting chunks to test a little bit further. And what should I say? Here you can see we have another heat map. So this area should be 9 by 9 chunks. Let's produce some heat and see what happens. Now we got 10.8%. So if I move here, and suddenly we got another heat map. I thought, what's that? Here, regardless where I move here in this area, we are always in the same heat map. Don't get confused because the percentage is decreasing, but it's all the same heat map. If I go here, we got another heat map. 0.9, 9.45. 0.88, 9.22. This is another heat map, but it has another size. This heat map is 5 times 9 chunks. This is 9 by 9. This is 5 by 9. And there is a very cool function in 7 Days to Die where you can display the chunks. So you can count them by yourself. So it starts here. This is the green chunk. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Changed. 7.6%, 0.7%. And then I said, okay, no problem. We have a 9 by 9 area in the center of the map and all the rest is 5 by 9. And I was wrong again. I was wrong again. So then I tried to, in this direction, and what shall I say? Here we have another heat map. Let's produce, let's say 15% of heat here in this heat map. So 15.26. And then I counted again and I thought I had to count 9. But no! Here is another heat map again. This is 15. This is 0. 15. 0. And now things come very, very... yeah, it's getting clear. Things are getting clearer, yeah. The center heat map is always 9 by 9 chunks. And it always has a 5 by 9 heat map to each direction. So to west, to the south, to the east, to the north. There is always a 5 by 9. So as long as you are on a 0 coordinate, is it here? 1, yeah, we are on 1 south, so this is 0. We are on 0. So if you have a 0 coordinate in any direction, you can always be sure you are standing on a 5 by 9 heat map in chunks. 5 by 9 chunks heat map in each direction. It doesn't matter if I go there, here, somewhere, yeah, and I'm still on a 0 or just very close to 0, I'm still on a 5 by 9 heat map. And all the rest is 5 by 5. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And each of them has its own is its own heat map. 9 by 9, 5 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 by 5, 5 by 5, 5 by 5, 5 by 5, and so on. So we can use this a little bit for our base design, because as you can see, I've already placed a land claim block on exactly this point. So this land claim is set to 71 blocks. So meaning it has 35 blocks in each direction. And with that, we have, or we are able to cover at least, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, so 16 chunks. Whereas and there is four chunks in each heat map, in a different heat map, and a total of 16 chunks. So if we, for example, design a base which is 2 by 2 chunks, so 32 by 32 blocks, then we can put, let's say, some workbenches here, some cement mixers here, and maybe some chemical stations here, and some campfires or anything, something else here. And so we can divide the heat of our base up to 4 heat maps. Also, because these heat maps are only 5 by 5, it could be a good idea to also divide the base a little bit further. Let's say you create 2 bases, one with a land claim block over here and another one which is over there. So then you have this heat map, there is another 5 by 5, but it's not painted in the world, and here is another 5 by 5. So then you have 8 heat maps which you can use for 2 bases, and then you can divide your crafting stations to even more heat maps like that. And there is only 160 blocks of distance. Yeah? So as you can see, it's way more complex than the heatmap sizes of earlier versions, where the heatmap was always attached only to the chunk where the crafting station was positioned in. Also, it got now comes the little bit complex part regarding the spawn of the zombies. So as you can see, we currently have no heat here in this chunk, and there is some information about when the spawn happens, but it is very difficult to say when the spawn happens. So, for example, we produce an amount of heat. We currently have one event, a sound event. We have 0.8% of heat, and we have one event here. So there is some information in the internet saying that at 25% the screamers will spawn, but that's not correct. There's also information saying the screamers will spawn at 50%, which is also not correct. We have a lot of random factors inside the math of this calculation there. So the first decision, which is completely random based, and I have absolutely no idea how the math is done for this. The first random factor is the percentage when there will something else happen. So the percentage when there will be a spawn or not be a spawn. So basically we have 3 random factors in a row. The first random factor is the sum of the crafting of the heat, the sum of the heat when the event will happen. So if we turn on some campfires and produce some heat, it may happen at 25. It could also be at 50. I also pushed it to a 60%. So let's try that, and I just shoot here the MG42, and let's take a very close look on the percentage when at which level it will reset the action. Yeah? So let's look very closely at the percentage now. So that was something around 45–47%. It was only shooting, and then the reset was triggered at 47%. It could also happen on 25 or maybe at 60%, but it happened at 47. So this is the first random factor at which percentage it will happen. So now it has been reset. So you see there is no heat anymore. I can put pipe bombs here. I can shoot what I want. It will not produce any heat. Nothing will happen. this heat map is now in a cooldown in a cooldown state. As you can see, it's 195 seconds cooldown. And also the timer for the cooldown, I have no idea how it is calculated. Sometimes it's 190, sometimes it's 235, sometimes it's 1335 seconds. I have no idea how it is calculated. It could be the number of events. And each event has its own cooldown, and the cooldown values get summed up. Maybe it's something like that. I have no idea. Also, the second random factor, the first one was the percentage at where the event happens. The second is, does the event happen? So, as you can see, we produced enough heat, but there is no zombie. There is no screamer. No screamer spawned here. Why? So this is the second event, and the third, the second random factor, and the third random factor is the calculation of the cooldown. So if we go here, as you can see, we have no heat in this chunk. So let me fire up those chemical stations here. And as you can see, this one is not burning. Okay. So now we should have 4 events. Yes, we have 4 campfire events, and we're producing currently 20% of heat. So I reload my weapon. So, and if you now take a look at the last number in each row, this should be the cooldown timer. And so if we now shoot the MG42 to produce so much heat that the event is triggered, we at first should watch at which percentage it is triggered, and then we should watch the cooldown. So it is not as the cooldown is not just summed up. It's not just an addition of all 4, maybe 5 events. And then we have 2600 seconds. It's less than 2600 seconds, so I have no idea how the math is done for the cooldown. You see, we still have a cooldown of 235. It's the same cooldown, or no, it's a little bit more than we had here in this chunk. So the event is triggered, there is no heat, we are in cooldown state. But we have no spawn again. No zombie spawned. So why is that? It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. So let me grab some ammunition. And reload that weapon. We go into this heat map here. %, 30, 40, 40%. Now we have a cooldown of 1315. So the event has been triggered. But still, again, no spawn. And I'm not able to figure out why. Yeah, we have a spawn. Now we've got a spawn. It's a single spawn. It's just one. It was just one. No, it's 2. It's 2. Okay, so in this case, we have triggered successfully the Screamer Zombie. So let's try again. Just porting a little bit around so we get a new fresh heat map. 10%, 20, 30, 40, 50, 50%. Cooldown 235. It's always, with the MG42, it's always something like 235 or 200 regarding the cooldown. But no spawn. Just looking here behind the trees. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to see, but there is no... We did not get a spawn this time. Okay, let's try again. Let's go here, reload. 20%, 30. Now it happened on 30%. But it doesn't seem to have triggered the spawn. No, no spawn. Okay, let's try again. Now we got again 1315. And we got a spawn. Okay, so maybe if we get a cooldown, which is 1315, then we also have a spawn. So if the cooldown is high, if the cooldown is very high, then we maybe we will get a spawn. But it's difficult to prove. Okay, let's try again. Reload. So maybe we can find out something new in this little short tutorial. So this is again a very low cooldown. Nothing. No spawn. Okay. Let's try again. Now we got a high cooldown. But it don't seems... No. Yeah, we have a spawn. We have a spawn. So if the cooldown is high, we will get a spawn, and if the cooldown is low, we will not get a spawn. So let's try it 2 more times just to make it 100% sure. Oh, broken leg again. Okay, now we have pushed it over 60%. So as you can see, the boiling point is completely random. We have a low cooldown, so I assume we will not get a spawn. Maybe it's at least just the cooldown calculation. So if the value for the cooldown is over a very high level or high value, then it will spawn the screamer zombies. So maybe it's all attached to the cooldown value. But we have no cooldown here. Okay, let's try again. We go here. We have got a high cooldown again. There is a zombie. But do we have... Do we have a screamer zombie? Yeah, we got... There it is. Okay, so if the cooldown is high... If the cooldown is very high, then... oh no. It's a cooldown 135? Is it the right chunk? I'm not even sure. Well, but I think you get it. So, I hope you really found this video, this tutorial useful, and I hope you understood my English, even if it's a little bit broken. Yeah. I have put in a lot of work into, not into making this video, but into the preparation for this video and counting chunks and everything. It took me 2 weeks to figure it out, and also I wasn't able for a few days to upload a new video to YouTube because we are just moving from one location to another, yeah, there was a lot of private stuff going on. So thank you very much. I hope you find this tutorial useful, and it would be really nice if you would like the video and maybe you leave a subscribe. You subscribe to the channel. I know for all those native English speakers it doesn't make any sense to subscribe to a German channel, but yeah. Anyways, so thank you very much for watching, and have a nice day. Bye.